Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Hello, spread fans. It's another week down on the farm for us. We got our prospect check coming in for you this week. Dash, who do we got going?
We're going to go with Pittsburgh Pirates second baseman Alen Hanson and Arizona Diamondbacks starting pitcher Aaron Blair. We'll start off with the hitter, though, Hanson. He's ranked number 77 on MLB.com, and he's not ranked by Baseball America.
Garbage.
Well, they only have two second basemen ranked in the top 100. Dilson Herrera at number 46, who is a former Pittsburgh Pirate. We dealt in the Marlon Byrd trade. And then Jose Peraza at number 54, who we just did a prospect check on what was it, last week. So you can go check that out if you want. But I don't want to hear it that the Pirates won't trade top prospects, because they did trade Dilson Herrera, who looks like a very good baseball player playing for the New York Mets this season. But Hanson, he's 22 years old. He'll be turning 23 in October. He's 5'11", 180 pounds. And like Neil Walker, their current second baseman, he is a switch hitter.
Switching it up.
Please believe.
Supreme Court just made that legal.
He's an international signee. The Pirates do this a lot. They did it with Polanco. They did it with Marte. And they're doing it here with Alen Hanson as well. He's from the Dominican Republic.
His name sounds pretty American. Alen Hansen. That doesn't sound Dominican.
Big Easy is not a fan of spending international money in the minor leagues. He hates that. He wants to spend it in the bigs, and I disagree. I say spending the international money on these guys. Now, I think he was 17 when they actually signed him. I think that's one of the things that helped turn the Pirates around. But his scouting grades, according to MLB.com, his hit tool is a 55, his power is a 40, his run is a 60, and his arm is just a 45, while his fielding is a 50. Now, offensively, he makes consistent contact. He hits the ball to all fields. He shows some power, and he has excellent speed. I mean, if you look, his first year in rookie ball in 2010, he stole 20 bases in 244 bats, while he did hit 324 with a 383 on base. Now, I don't think he's that type of hitter, but the speed is for real. 24 stolen bases in 2011 between rookie ball and A short in 208 at bats. In 2012, 35 stolen bases and 489 at bats in single A. Between A advanced and double A in 2013, 30 stolen bases and 504 at bats. Last season, he had 25 and 482, and this season he's shown it even more with 17 stolen bases already, and that's in Triple A. So you can see the stolen base potential is for real with Hanson.
Look at all the triples this guy gets.
I wanted to mention this. You're right, man. This guy is a triples machine. I've been following minor leaguers for years now, and I've never seen a guy hit triples like this. 60 of them so far through 2,183 at bats.
This is a guy that shows excellent gap power.
Yeah, definitely. His doubles are up there too. In 2012 in A full, he hit 33, and then in 2013 between A advanced and double A, he hit 27. So he does have gap power, and he's still young. He's still just 22 years old, even though he's been in the minor leagues for 6 years now. He had a 16 home run season in 2012, 8 home runs the following year, 11 in 2014, and he has 4 so far this year in a half a season. So he's a guy that shows some decent pop. He's going to be a guy that can hit you low double digits in the bigs. But he's also a guy, look, when you look at this extra base pop he has, he could turn into even more power and give you maybe 20 home runs in a season. Do you agree?
Definitely be nice. Be an upgrade over what Neil Walker's doing this year, that's for sure.
Well, listen, even if he doesn't, let's say he hits between 8 and 14 home runs per season. This speed he has, look, with all the triples and all these stolen bases, 151 stolen bases in 2,183 at-bats in the minors, this makes him have higher upside than Neil Walker for sure. And I would say he hit 324 in 2010, had a down season in 2011, hitting 260. 2012, he hit 309. And then in 2013, he hit 274. But over the past 2 seasons, in 2014 and this season, he hit 280 and 289. I think that's more of the hitter you're going to see from him. Maybe 275 to 285. He's not going to be a 300 hitter, I don't think. He's not a consistent player from day to day. He has his off days. But look, a 280 hitter with a ton of stolen bases. The one thing, he's worked on his K rate throughout the minors, but his walk rate has also went down since he hit Double-A. So he's not going to be a high on base percentage. Kind of reminds me of a Josh Harrison with super speed.
Super
So he's a douche that's fast.
Josh Harrison is no douche, man. Josh Harrison's the man.
With his arm strength, you possibly see him being a second baseman?
Well, yeah, last year, up until last year, or even through last year, he was a shortstop until the end of the season. They ended up moving him to second base because even though he has the range, he has the glove, his arm is just a little bit too weak for the shortstop position. Now, he could be like, if you brought him up this season, he could be a utility guy, maybe get a couple games at short, but in the long run, he's more of a second baseman than anything else. But if you look, this season, he was named Player of the Month in the International League for May. He hit .362 with a .403 on base during that month. He has 16 extra base hits, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, and 7 steals in those 28 games in that month. So he's about ready for the bigs. The only problem is he was placed on a 7-day DL at Triple-A with a fractured left pinky, and that was a couple weeks ago. I think on the 15th he played his last game. So there is no timetable for his return, no specific timetable yet, but it shouldn't hurt his chances of making the bigs this season. And really, he should be Pittsburgh's starter next season if the Pirates can find a deal to deal Neil Walker in the offseason. But look, people want to make a couple deals at the trade deadline for the Pittsburgh Pirates, try to bring in a bat or two.
Deal him.
But I would bring up Alen Hansen for sure. This is a guy you can put in the game as a base runner, as a pinch runner. He can play as a utility infielder. And if you're facing a lefty and you don't want Neil Walker batting right-handed, you can bring in Alen Hansen and start him instead and get him ready for next season. And who knows? If he wouldn't have broke his pinky here, I'd have brought him up already, gave him some time. And if he showed enough, maybe look to see if anybody wants to overpay for Neil Walker at the deadline. Although I'd push that back until the offseason now since he's injured and hasn't come up yet. But I'd bring him up as soon as he comes back and he hits well for a few games. I'd bring him up and add him to this roster because they have, Gorkys Hernandez, Jose Tabata at the end of this roster right now.
They designated Tabata for assignment.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no surprise there.
I'd rather have Tabata than Hernandez.
I'd rather have Alen Hansen than any of these guys.
Yeah. Too bad he can't play the outfield.
Well, you could probably teach him, but I wouldn't worry about that. I'd let him focus on second base right now. And then the starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Aaron Blair. He's rated number 66 on MLB.com, and he's rated number 40 by Baseball America. He's just 23 years old, and he's a big guy too, 6'5", 230 pounds.
He was a supplemental draft pick, wasn't he?
Yes, he was drafted in 2013, 36th overall. But the Arizona Diamondbacks actually took Braden Shipley with their first pick that season. They were both in Marshall's rotation in college, so these guys have pitched together for a long time now. But Blair actually seems like the one that will make a major league debut first. Blair's scouting grades, according to MLB.com, his fastball grades out at a 60. It can hit 95 at times, and it does have movement. His curveball is a 50. He has shown improvement with that, though, too, and it should end up being an above-average major league pitch, while his changeup is his second-best pitch. And look, they have his control rated a 50 here on MLB.com, and I just don't see it. Now, this season for Triple-A, he's made 3 starts. He just got called up to Triple-A recently, and he has shown a little bit of trouble with his walk rate. 7 walks in 16.2 innings. But outside of that, I mean, look, in 2013, between A short and A full, he had 17 walks in 48.2 innings. That's not too bad. In 2014, between 3 levels, A full, A advanced, and Double-A, 51 walks in 154.1 innings. That's not that terrible. But then, look, this year in Double-A, 23 walks in 83.1 innings. That's elite-type control right there. And he's always had a good ERA in the minors. His high is being 3.56 in 2014 between those 3 levels I mentioned. the same season in 2014, he was second in the minor leagues in strikeouts with 171 in 154.1 innings. He's hard to hit, just 125 hits that season. And look, 70 hits in 83.1 innings in Double-A this season. But if you look at these 3 starts in Triple-A this season, his first start, he allowed 8 earned runs in 4 innings. So that was his first taste of the Triple-A, and he got lit up a little bit. But over his last 2 outings, 12.2 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 earned run. Still 5 walks, a little high, but 11 Ks. He actually picked his K rate up from Double-A this season, where he had 64 and 83.1 innings over 13 starts. But he only had 1 walk in his last start, which came yesterday. And you got to remember, this is the Pacific Coast League, which is a big hitters league. So whatever numbers he shows here in AAA, you got to take with a little grain of salt and expect a little bit better numbers if he would play in a different league, and probably in the bigs as well.
My question is, can he golf?
I don't know why.
Because I want to go golfing.
You want to go golfing?
I'm going to hit this dude up and see if he can golf. Sell him some insurance.
But yeah, like I said, in AAA here, this is really the first time he had a little bit of control issues. I say that 50 control rating scouting grade by MLB.com is a little low. I like his control. I like his strikeout rate, 291 and 303 innings career in the minors with a 3.33 ERA. He's hard to hit, 254 hits. Everything looks good about this guy. Now, he doesn't really have any dominating pitches. The fastball, like I said, it hits 95. That's not bad, but it's not dominating. The curveball isn't up to league average yet, although it should end up being above average. His changeup is good, not elite. So he's more of a low-end number 2, high-end number 3 type pitcher. But he's been consistent throughout the minors. They moved him through the minor leagues pretty quick, and I expect this guy to be up in this rotation at some point this season.
And certainly be an upgrade over Josh Coleman or Jeremy Hellickson.
Well, I mean, yeah, you look at Arizona here. They have Robbie Ray, who they just called up recently. He's a young guy, and he's pitching well. 198 ERA through 6 starts so far. He's more of a back end of the rotation type guy. This isn't someone that's going to pitch like this long term. So he could end up being in this rotation. But you got to remember, they got Patrick Corbin. He's coming off the DL. He's making 1 more rehab start, and he's coming back. He's definitely a guy that needs to be in a major league rotation. And really, he's at least a number 3, even after Tommy John, and if he's not as good as he used to be, still a number 3 type pitcher, I would believe. And then you got Braden Shipley, Aaron Blair, and the biggest prospect out of them all coming into this season was Archie Bradley, who has struggled. He's on a 15-day DL, but I still believe they think he is a long-term piece in this rotation. So you got Corbin, Bradley, Shipley, and Blair. Now, Robbie Ray could work out. Chase Anderson has been a good pitcher for him, a back-end type guy when they have all these guys called up. But all they need is one of these guys to work out between Ray, Anderson, Ruby De La Rosa, Josh Collmenter, Jeremy Hellickson, Alan Webster. He was a top prospect at one time, top 50, I would say, for the Boston Red Sox. He didn't work out with them, and it doesn't look like he's working out with Arizona either. But there's another guy. They have a lot of arms that they could fill out this rotation with. But Blair, Shipley, and Bradley, all 3 of them are definitely going to be pieces of this rotation. I still think Archie Bradley, if he can work out his control issues, he should be the best one. But I think I like Aaron Blair better than Braden Shipley, even though Shipley was the higher pick. So who do you like more out of these 247, Alen Hansen or Aaron Blair?
Overall, I mean, I got to go with Blair right now. I like his makeup. He's big. He got room to grow, especially like physically. He's still young, just like Hansen is. But I like the life he gets on this fastball. He gets a lot of downward movement, throwing on a downward plane, gets a lot of ground balls. That's going to be a great asset to him, especially as he learns how to pitch in the bigs.
Please believe. And that strikeout rate that was low this season in Double-A, I think it's a little better than that too. I don't think he's a 1 per inning type guy, but he's closer to maybe 8 every 9 innings, something like that. He's not going to be over 9 per 9 innings though. But I don't know, man. Alen Hansen, he's a guy that's going to be all over the base paths, I believe.
he'll be judged basically on his bat. What kind of a hitter he's going to become.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any worse than 265 at very minimum, but I also wouldn't say he has a chance to be a 300 hitter. I think he's maxes out at maybe a little bit lower than 290 at 288, 289 type hitter. I don't see him as an elite type hitter.
It's actually kind of funny because I see him, like, I see his build and everything, and the numbers that he produces. He kind of reminds me of Jimmy Rollins in a way. Because Rollins would put up a season like 20 to 30 doubles, a dozen triples, maybe 15 to 20 home runs to go with it.
Yeah, it's all going to depend on how much power that Alen Hansen grows into. If he can turn into that 15 to 20 home run type hitter, then he's going to be one of the best second basemen in baseball with that speed to go along with it. But I'm going to say, yeah, Aaron Blair, I think he's actually going to be called up before Alen Hansen will be. The Pirates usually like to take their time with their prospects while other teams are usually a little bit more aggressive. And Arizona needs a lot of help in this rotation. Even though they have some big-time prospects there, it really hasn't come together yet. And let's face it, they're in third place right now, and they're not really out of it yet.
Bring up Blair for the back end of your rotation.
One thing's for sure, you will see Hansen in September for Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
without
hopefully
question.
Sooner, but yes, at least in September, I would believe. And that would be great because when the rosters expand, I mean, if Pedro Alvarez gets a single late in a game or something, then you can bring in Alen Hansen on the base pass if he's sitting that day. And that's a huge upgrade over what they have on their bench. They really don't have the speed on their bench right now where they can do something like that.
That's all there is, and there ain't no more, fans. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Fans, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Like us on Facebook and keep subscribing to that YouTube channel.